Yeah.
Here we go. How we doing, people? My name's Phil Kent, obviously. I'm joined today by Carl Murray, who's going to be joining me on my new challenge, which is, and he's absolutely buzzing about it. For those who don't know, I did a 50-day challenge. If you didn't know my 50-day challenge, then you must have been asleep under a rock. I did a 50-day challenge, of which I did, and it was quite successful. I had a lot of people on board, and on day 50, we even had Wayne join us, and that live alone already on my timeline we're closing in on 400 views. So when we talk about people doing these things and doing these lives and doing this is what's getting you the exposure. You're branding yourself. It's so important. And I always do challenges. The reason I do challenges is because of the accountability. And Cole is one of my dominators inside OLSP. He was, as soon as he found out I was doing another one, he was jumping at the minute to get involved. And Carl, you've almost got two challenges because you're going to join me on my challenge, which is great. And also, I have confidence in you. I've got this weird confidence in you. Because if you manage to complete it, you'll be the first person that's ever gone to the end of a challenge with me.
Wow.
So in a way, that's a second challenge for yourself, because
that's like that's a real call to action, that one.
It is. I mean, that I think that itself. I mean, I watched your live this morning, and you said straight away it's getting you out of your comfort zone, and I think already you're noticing it, because I gave you the initial a month ago, the initial challenge of do a daily live. And we can all go back to your first ones. I can go back to my first lives. They were terrible. You were a little bit sort of nervous, didn't know what to say, etc., which is completely normal. But now you're just popping that phone out your pocket. You're talking when you're walking down the street. You say hello to people. I mean, if anybody hasn't done one before, it really does become quite easy quite quickly, doesn't it, Carl?
Yeah, I mean, when you first start, you are very self-aware of other people looking at you like you're talking to yourself, and it becomes the norm after a while, especially doing the job that I do, because I'm always surrounded by people. But it's quite funny that when I first started to do it, I had a selfie stick, and I'm walking down the road talking to the selfie stick.
But it does get easier, doesn't it? I mean, I've been doing videos for a long time, so to me, to sort of transition to lives wasn't too bad, because I've been always doing YouTube videos. But I've still got some of my original YouTube videos, which I occasionally watch back as my horror show, and I look at myself thinking, oh my God, what did I look like? I had these hideous headphones with this great big mic thing sticking out. I had a crappy mic. I sounded awful, but it worked back then. It still got results. We still got people interested. And you're right, how it becomes the norm, because as you know, I just come back from being away in Turkey, and the first day in Turkey, we were surrounded. As you know, I was on the beach. We just got there. We walked down to the beach. We'd had a drink, and the paragliders were landing. And I said, I've got to shoot this. I've got to get alive. And that kind of fun. My wife's just sort of used to me, so she just sort of sat down. But I was getting these sort of people that, what's this guy doing? I'm just walking along, as you know, I was just doing the live. And but it doesn't bother you, does it? You just think to me, this is normal behaviour.
I like talking to other people while I'm on the live, because it just makes it more interesting. There's just other people coming on,
So when I put the new live together, I wanted to involve Facebook Lives, because I was doing them every day anyway, and I wanted to make it a little bit more challenging in some ways, best I could, and do something that other people could get involved in. And realistically, the challenge I put together, when it's broken down, I'll pull up the Word doc in a second. It really is not much different than what people should be doing every day, apart from just a few extra lives here and there. And I spoke to you about shorts. I'll briefly go over it, and then what I'll do, I'll square the screen now with this way, so people can have another look. In case they don't know what it's doing. I've called it the XXX 100 challenge, because this is going to be done over 30-day challenge. and it's going to consist of 3 separate things that you've got to do 100 of. It makes sense if I share the screens. Yeah. Give me a minute. Obviously, Cole knows what it's all about. And when I bring up, just wait for that to pop up. So I haven't got my phone on today, so I'm just waiting for the screen to react. There we go. Yeah, so it's on a real go slow today. Here we go. So hopefully, guys, because I can't see my screen, hopefully, guys, you can see this. I haven't got my phone open. I might try and open that in a second. That's when I normally sort of see that things are happening, but it seems to be appearing. You should be able to see the Word doc in front of me. I've broken down, I've called it the XXX 100 Challenge, and it's over a 30-day period. It consists of the following: to do 100 Facebook Lives in 30 days, to do 100 Facebook posts in 30 days, and also to do 100 video shorts in 30 days. Now, I'll go over each of them. Obviously, the lives is self-explanatory, so I'm just going to turn the mute on my phone, 1 sec. The lives are self-explanatory. It works out on actual numbers about three and a half a day of each thing, which obviously you can't really do 3.5, but it gives you an idea of what it's all about. So I'm just bringing the phone into play as well as I'm sort of talking as we're going along. And the easy way to look at it is if you've got to do 3 a day and 3 times a week, you do 4 a day, or if you've got to play completely safe, do 4 a day of each and you're laughing. And the Facebook post is quite easy, 3 different Facebook posts or 4 different Facebook posts over 30 days, and the 100 video shorts. Now, this doesn't have to be like the RPM challenge. It doesn't have to be one to each of the 4 platforms. Carl, I know you use Facebook Reels a lot, so there's nothing wrong with if somebody wants to do get involved, or if Carl wants to just stick with Facebook Reels, that is fine. But the idea is obviously you've got to do 4 or 3 to 4 unique reels each day. So, I mean, I know sometimes, Carl, you do your live and you share it to your reels. So obviously if you do a Facebook live and you share it to your reels, that doesn't count as one of your shorts, because it's the same content, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. But obviously, so in that instance, you'd have to do a Facebook Live and then do a short as well. This way, it just gives people a bit more commitment to doing things, and makes it easier to do, and just gives them that accountability, which is what it comes down to. As I put it, averages out to around 3 a day for each, but with 3 days a week, etc. I've just sort of covered that bit at the bottom. Lives, posts, and videos must be unique each time. So if somebody wants to say just on Facebook, for example, then they can do this doing just Facebook. They can do the lives on Facebook. They can do obviously the Facebook posts, and they can use Facebook Reels as their video shorts. That's the idea of it. The idea is to create a little bit of flexibility, and there's no set number per day. So if somebody misses a day where they just have something happen, and there's not that per day commitment, the idea is to get the number at the end of the 30 days. So if somebody missed a day, obviously then they know they're going to be, 4 of each short. So if they then said, right, I'm going to do 4 of each or 5 of each the next 2 or 3 days, they're going to catch back up. So it sort of eliminates a lot of people saying, well, I don't know if I can commit to every day and all the rest of it. Doing the numbers is easy, and all you got to do on each individual post, then I'll drop that back down. On each individual post, then is make the post as you would normally, but obviously you just number each post. So this, like, you could make a Facebook post, call it whatever you like, whatever, and then somewhere either at the top or the bottom saying Facebook post number 12, Facebook post number 14, and I would need to do that for my own benefit. Otherwise, I would completely lose track of what numbers, and I'd have to be going back down my timeline counting my posts, which I certainly don't want to be doing. Especially if you get to the high numbers. Was I on 75 or 76? I've got no idea.
I actually did that on my 30-day. I had to go back and recount.
There's nothing worse. And I know from doing a 100-day blitz that I did that you absolutely have to write them down on the posts, Because you can imagine when I did the 100-day a few years ago, and that involved everything. I had to do a live, I was uploading a YouTube video, I was doing posts that was going out. You know, it was a monster of a challenge, but I did it. You know, I wouldn't do it again that size in a hurry because, you know, I was literally exhausted at the, at the end of it. But I was determined to beat it because the thing is with challenges, it's the best part that I like. People love it when you complete it. They well done. But most of them, 90% of the people are wanting you to not make it. This is what they want. This is what they want to happen. It's true. They want you to miss a day. They want you to miss that number. I know for a fact that when I was doing the 50 days, people were saying, I just want him to miss a day. Want him to miss a day. And then go, oh, he missed a day. He didn't do it. You know, this is just the weird world that we live in. Unfortunately,
people want you to fail, but
yes, they do. You know,
there was one short I saw that, you know, if you haven't failed, you're not trying enough.
Yeah, it's true. You know, and they want you to do it. And you know, it was nice when I had the guest coming on, and Dr. M came on, and he said one day, he said once you started that, he said, I had no doubt whatsoever that you were going to complete it. He said, I just could tell by the way you work, your ethics. And my wife would tell you, she said, if I decide I'm going to do something, put my mind to it, I'll do it. You know, and I wanted people to join. I've had 2 or 3 people like you have messaged me, but you know, the closer you get to the start date, the quieter they become. This is this is generally what happens. I kind of get used to it, and I said the average staying rate is 3 to 5 days. You know, if that. You know, that is what
I really think we should get Ilse on it too. Yeah.
I see Ilse is going to make an excuse that she can't do lives. There's no reason why she can't do it as a joint venture with Leo. She could say, can we do it together? Of course you can do it together. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with 2 people doing it together. It's still, then you can, you know, point it as one. But this is why when we tried to get her to do her own lives, I said, look, I'll jump on with you. And I said, start doing with Leo. She's great at coming on, but for some reason she's got this barrier that she just needs to get over on doing them her own. But it does get easier. And if anybody's sort of camera shy, seriously, I mean, if you go through Facebook looking at some people's lives, or look at some people that join Zoom calls or whatever, and you'll see some people where you're just thinking, oh my God, you know, look at these people. They don't care what they look like. They don't care what's in the background. You know, nobody's interested. Just get on and be you. And people will relate more to that. Which is why I've started shooting a few now on the way back from the gym. I did a couple just on the fly, and now surprisingly they're getting quite a few views, and people I even get messages after going, caught the replay, love what you said today, and you start thinking, oh well, I just sort of threw that on and started chatting.
Yeah,
because
sometimes that's the best thing, you know, because you haven't got a plan.
No,
that you haven't got a plan of what you're going to say. It just occurs to you while you're talking, you know. It's just,
and it is exactly right. And the impromptu ones often work well, you know. They really do, you know. And I had a lot of people, especially when I was doing the 100 one a few years ago, and even when I was doing the 50-day one, I had quite a common question that come up. People saying, how do you find the content to do a live every day? How do you find these subjects to talk about? And my common answer to everybody that asks that, I mean, I have used ChatGPT in the past, but not for me lives as much. I say normally, not for lives. I say normally it'll be from, it could be a DM question. Like you just asked me, how do I find the content for lives? Bang, there we go. There's a subject. I'm going to talk about that one. It could be something I've seen. It could be a post I've seen. And it's the same way when we're going to be doing these lives, because we've got to ramp them up to sort of 3 to 4 a day. We spoke last night, Carl. I mean, and you gave a classic example last night, which was just completely innocent answer, wasn't it? You just said, when I was doing my live, you jumped on my evening one and you said, I just made a live on my way to the shop. Bang. That is how easy it is, you know, for people to do it. You know, it really is that simple. I did it on the way back from the gym. Carl did it on the way to the shop. We've all got phones in our pockets now. It's easier now than it was years ago. You can just pull it out and go, boom. Anyway, but, you know, and just start talking, you know, and you'll be surprised at how many people just, the curiosity will listening to a live, and even if they don't listen to it there and then, you'll get that notification on Facebook, such and such was live. Like your lives always come up on my feed. I'll listen in later. I get loads of people hashtagging replay, caught the live. And like I said, and once you get into the rhythm of it, it's easy. And I could have set a stupid number, say you got to do between 5 and 10 lives a day, and people are going to go, no chance. Doing 3 a day on average, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the evening, you can do 3, whatever, and there's no time limit. I'm not saying people you got to do it. It's got to be a minimum 10 minutes. Because they're going to be thinking, what am I going to talk about for 10 minutes? Because sometimes I'll leave the gym and I'll think, well, it normally takes me quarter of an hour to get home at that time in the morning in traffic. And I don't think, I've got 15 minutes, what am I going to talk about? I pull out the gym, stick my phone and I start talking. Next thing I'm home, and I have to say, right, I've got to go because I'm home now. And you look at and it's gone for 15 minutes.
You're talking about that. I had a guide with me last week that literally, if she says to you, how long is it going to take to get from here to here, and you say 2 hours, she'll talk for 2 hours and 10 minutes non-stop. I have no idea.
But I mean, we'll touch on what we spoke about briefly, because we try and get people help. And I try and encourage people to get involved because they'll always come up with excuses. Facebook Lives, you got to be doing it. In this industry, it's a people industry, and people join people. So the more you can brand yourself, the better it is. And Facebook Live is one of the best ways to do that. Secondly, you touched last night on the video shorts, and I'll tell people what I tell Carl. You've got one of the most easy apps to use out there called CapCut. And CapCut will generate you views to anything. And I used to, when I was doing the RPM video challenge, because it had to be so heavily focused on promoting RPM at the same time, I had to get a lot of RPM, like media files, screenshots, and stuff like that. So there was a bit more involved because I had to upload my pictures onto their templates. Wasn't too difficult once you got them saved on your phone, but it was a bit more complex. Nowadays, like as you've probably been seeing from my own reels and such like, I am just using CapCut's templates that the uploaders have put there to use. Now they are branded with their CapCut ID, so there's no, you're not trying to hide it or cover it over. So they've got their ID, so people want to go and check them out, they can do so. And it makes it so easy, especially when I'm saying to do sort of 3 to 4 a day. All I do normally is I just go on the phone, I told you how to search them, go on templates. If you just scroll through all the templates, you could be there forever because they cover so many different niches. But there is a search bar, and you can search it for any niche or topic you want. I generally hone mine in around motivation, positivity, things like that. Shorter the videos are generally better, but some longer ones do work. But obviously I normally upload one of mine to YouTube, and that cannot be over a minute. So I try and keep them shorter. And I just find for this challenge, all I'm going to do is find at least 4. And then across the day, I'm going to upload them. And that will count for anybody's video short. It is easy. Sure. So, and like I said, for someone like yourself, Carl, that uses Facebook Reels quite a lot, if somebody said, well, I only want to use Facebook Reels, fine. But just do 4 Facebook Reels. Find them on CapCut. You're going to do them. And the best part behind these challenges is, I learned it a lot from the RPM challenge, is what you're unwittingly doing is you're creating a routine and you're building your own engagement without actually realizing it. Yeah. Because you're having to put out the content. I mean, you said it on your live this morning, Carl, didn't you? You said, it's getting me out my comfort zone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And would you say when I gave you the challenge, I said to you, do a daily live, and you've ended up going for the 30 days. Would you say that for anybody listening, that suddenly gave you a little bit of a sense of commitment?
Did, yes. Yeah. You're going along. I mean, I didn't commit to any particular time in the day, but you know, it sometimes was the morning, sometimes the afternoon, sometimes it was the evening. But I made sure I did one every day.
That's right. And why did you make sure you did one every day?
But it was a commitment to myself.
If I hadn't thrown that gauntlet challenge down to you, do you think you would have still done one every day?
Probably not.
No. And there it is in a nutshell. There it is in a nutshell. It's like, because you've jumped on board with this challenge, you know, you hit the nail on the head when we spoke last night. You said it all comes down to planning, because you're like me. You're already thinking, right, how am I going to do this? How am I going to space this out? What's the best way to get these lives out? What's the best way? Which is what you do. That's a marketer's mind. You know,
Yeah.
you straight away thinking, right, I'll do one here, one there. I'll do my post, and without that challenge, you wouldn't have that. People will be sitting in there thinking, what should I do today? Should I make a post? Maybe I'll do a reel. I'm not sure. And they've come in this sort of no man's land where they don't actually do anything. And which is why I'm always banging on about it, people. Challenges work. Either join somebody else's or set your own and just get involved with them. Because all of a sudden you've got that crazy routine, but it works. You know, at the end of the 30 days, you know, we'll have done, you know, over 300 pieces of content each.
Yeah.
You know, just in that 30 days. You know, it's as simple as that. Which is, well, like when I did that RPM video challenge, I said I want the full reward. I want the full 1,000 clicks that he was offering to do that. So I did one unique video each day to the 4 platforms. Because one of them was TikTok and they have a habit of taking videos down, I made sure that I did 3 each day to each. So if one got removed, I wasn't one short.
Makes much difference.
Yeah, which is right. So because I implemented that sort of safety barrier to make sure that in case anything got taken down, I ended up doing over 320 video shorts for that one challenge.
Yeah.
Just because I was doing about 10 to 12 a day, you know, as a safety barrier. And if somebody said to me, post some content, make some shorts, I wouldn't have got anywhere near that number. But the challenge again made me do that, because I thought, well, I'm going to make sure I do between 3 and 4 every day to each, and they're all unique videos, to make sure that I get this full reward, which I did get, you know. And this is where the reasoning behind these challenges come in. This is why they work so well, isn't it? You know, and I think you're starting to see it. Like you said it yourself, it's made you do your Facebook Lives. It got you out your comfort zone. I'm not doing them for a while. I know you've done them before. They were scratchy at first, but like you said, you just got, even on a bad day, which proved it when you had a couple of rough days with your coach driving, you still made sure you did that live because you felt like you had to. You felt like you had to. You had that commitment. So maybe if you could explain that to, because I'm used to doing them, and that was the sort of first challenge you've sort of taken part in that I sort of threw at you. Can you explain to people the difference between if someone was just going to do them and what makes you do them because you felt like you had to?
I think that if you're just,
thank you.
If you just do it on an ad hoc basis, you've got no real commitment to yourself to do it on a daily basis. But if someone actually gives you a challenge, like I could set you a challenge to do something, you would feel obliged within yourself to actually complete that challenge, whether you felt like doing it or not on that day, on that particular day. It's like if you've got a job, your boss would say to you, right, you have to do this, and this, and this.
Yeah.
It's the same type of thing that, you know. So yeah, that's the difference to me.
It is a difference, and I think you're starting to see it now, because a lot of I've had people over the past say, why do you do challenges? Why do you always throw them out? And once you start getting involved with them, it's the best way forward. And it unwittingly creates a sense of consistency for people as well. All those that did the RPM video challenge, the idea was behind it, not to just do the RPM video challenge for 30 days and then that's it. After you can stop now. The idea is, because it's become a routine, that his methodology behind it is creating this consistency, creating this routine for people that they carry on, which
Yeah.
is the same really with my lives. As soon as I started getting towards the end of my 50-day life, I had people messaging me all the time, quite a few people saying, are you going to continue with them? You know, because they got used to you doing them, like yourself, your lives. Are you going to keep them going? So that trend carried forward, and I ended up doing, I think, 56 days on the trot. But because I was out in Turkey, I decided I'd do a couple, and then I thought, no, it's time to put the phone in the pocket for a few days and stop, because I hit day 56 and enough was enough. But when we went up to the top of the Bobby Dog Mountain, I just said, I'm shooting alive from here, because it was just such an opportunity, and I wasn't going to miss it, you know. And again, I saw people start looking at me. I'm just walking past people, talking away as I'm talking, but it becomes second nature, doesn't it, Carl? You're oblivious to them. It doesn't matter. People would sort of think
it does. It does kind of register in the back of your mind that people are watching you, but it doesn't. It
doesn't phase you, does it? No. And because it's because of the world we live in, people don't take any notice, do they?
No,
you know, they're not, because the people are on Skype calls or live calls, and I'm just walking along, chatting away, and I went right to the end of the platform. I spun the screen around so people could see what was going on, and people are fascinated by it, you know. And the reason I've started using YouTube Shorts as well as Reels is because the difference in views can be quite staggering sometimes. I mean, I can take one of those CapCut videos, for example, and I can have one on, say, Facebook Reels that might only tot up 100, 200 or whatever, one of those ones that just doesn't do as well. The exact same video can get 2,600 sometimes on YouTube.
On YouTube or TikTok.
On a different platform, which is the reason I send it out to that one. And I've been monitoring the YouTube Shorts, and I'm starting to I try a little bit of hashtags, but I don't think hashtags come into it when you're on lower views as much. But I've noticed the titles that I'm using and the comments in the description that I've been they are grabbing people's attention a little bit, and that's what I've been experimenting with. And that's the beauty of it, because they're so easy to do. Download this video, type a few words, put it up, see how it gets on. I still have some that don't do so well. I have some that struggle to make 100 on YouTube, but over the last, say, a dozen or so, a lot of them now are topping sort of 1,500. One hit over 4,000, one hit sort of 2,500, and I'm getting towards a better average now, which is what I want. You know, and then you're thinking, and people say, you know, oh, is it leads? You say leads will come later. At the end of the day, you're getting this constant exposure to what you're doing. Your lives get quite a lot of views, so people are getting to know Carl Murray on his lives, and it's that constantly thing. And branding yourself is paramount, and that's what these challenges help to do.
Yeah, they do.
So before we jump on, we've explained the challenge. A couple of people have asked me. It was commented again on the video today, which she clearly didn't watch last night, because last night I went into it in full detail. She was an eager beaver to find out, but and I think her best way to do it would be to jump on and get involved and do it together with Leah, because then she'd get over that hurdle of, you know, because she's brilliant at joining a live. But it's making that step to doing her own and all the rest of it. But hey ho, you had a few people message you. You'll find that they'll probably start going quiet as you get closer to the time. That is what happens. People want to know, and when they realise, oh, hang on, I've actually got to commit to this. No, I'm busy tomorrow. You know, I'll start mine next week. Yeah, we get that. That is generally what happens. But Carl, it's been great. I've got to jump off now. We're going to grab something to eat shortly. It starts tomorrow. There's no set time. As you know, there's no set amount to do each day. The figures that I gave, 3 to 4 a day, I just for people if they're watching and they want to join in, they are not set in stone. The idea is to hit the numbers by the end of the 30 days, and make sure you write the numbers for each one on each bit of content you do.
If anybody fancies joining us, because it is going to be fun.
It is.
If anybody fancies joining us, please get in touch with either one of us, and you know we'll set it up. Not a problem.
That's it. I'll give you the link to this recording afterwards, Carl. I'll shoot it over so you'll be able to share this live on your own timeline, so people can watch it.
Yeah,
people can watch it back. And like I said, like Carl says, you got until tomorrow. You can join in time tomorrow. That's when we're starting. It does generally work better if you start at the same time, because then you can sort of bounce off each other and things like that. And it's not difficult. It's achievable, and you don't have to. Like Carl said, you don't have to do your live at the same time every day. Do them when you pleases. If you miss a day, it's not the end of the world.
No.
If you put, as long as you put your numbers on your post, you know where you're at, and you got to go back and just sort of catch up. So if you have a day where you might have something come up out of the blue, you're not going to get on and do any. It's not lost. The challenge isn't over because it's not a daily challenge. You can say, right, well, I'll make sure I'll just do 5 for the next 3 days or whatever it works out. Sure. And you got to catch back up. And that's the way. And just remember, if you do get involved, write your daily numbers on your post. Trust me, because there's nothing worse than losing count. It's impossible to lose count. It's impossible to keep count, should I say, when you're doing it. You've got to write them down. That's why I did it with the 50 days. I made a banner every day, and I still had to check on the previous day to see what day I was on, because that's the only reason I could look back. I'll look on yesterday's event. What day was it yesterday? Right, I know what day I'm on today. Otherwise, I would have had a clue what day I was on.
Absolutely.
So just stick it on your post somewhere. It won't mean anything to anybody else, but that doesn't really matter. It means something to you. and that's the important part. So Carl, it's great to have you join on the challenge. You've got a double challenge, like we say. You're now determined to be the first person that gets to the end and completes it, and which would be great. It'd be great to have somebody that goes all the way instead of 2 days or whatever it is they normally last. That is the norm. I think the longest is about 5 days before someone dropped off. But this is what happens. So thanks for watching, people. Myself and Carl, like I say, reach out to others. If you want to get involved, get involved. It's the best thing you can do. It's a laugh. It's a bit of fun. You're doing your content and enjoying it at the same time. So whatever you're doing, guys, have a great day. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next live, and we'll catch you hopefully on the challenge if you decide to join. Cheers then, and bye for now.